tradition where a man comes to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. سأل رجل رسول الله فقال يا رسول الله إنا نأكل ولا نشبع. Ya Rasulullah, we eat, but we're never satiated. Have you seen some people? They're always hungry. SubhanAllah, they're always hungry. We eat, and this is assuming there's no medical issue. We eat, but we're never satiated. We're always hungry. Look at what the Prophet says. Sometimes these things are spiritual problems and not physiological problems. The Prophet says, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَفْتَرِقُونَ عَنْ طَعَامِكُمْ فَاجْتَمِعُوا عَلَيْهِ. The Prophet says, it seems that you do not eat together. Everyone eats by themselves. And this is one of the calamities of our time. People are under one roof. It's one family. The husband is eating by himself. The wife is eating in the kitchen by herself. All of the kids have their own food and they're eating alone and they're watching their iPhones and their iPads. The whole family is dispersed. The Prophet says, come together and eat together. And he says, وَاذْكُرَ اسْمَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْهِ, and say Bismillah. Eat together. Eat in congregation. Eat as a family and say Bismillah. يُبَارَكْ لَكُمْ فِي. Allah will put barakah in your food. It will nourish you. There will be barakah in your food if we did this. In another hadith, one last hadith relating to the importance of saying Bismillah. There's a hadith from the Prophet that says, Man akala al-halal. If you eat halal, it's not that Allah is just not going to punish you. Allah rewards you for eating halal. We think that if I eat haram, Allah will punish me, but if I eat halal, there's no punishment. It's not that there's no punishment, there is a reward. The hadith says, Man akala al-halal qama ala ra'sihi malakun yastaghfiru lahu hatta yafrugha min akli. The Prophet says, the one who eats halal and says Bismillah, an angel stands above his head and asks Allah to forgive that person until they finish eating. You earn the dua of malaika when you eat halal and when you mention and you invoke the name of Allah. There's another hadith from the Prophet where he says, and this is something that we should try to implement. الطعام إذا جمع أربع خصال فقد تم. A meal that combines the following four characteristics is a perfect meal in the eyes of Allah. We want to make sure that we eat in a way that is pleasing to Allah. Number one, إذا كان من halal. Number one, we said there are four. Number one is that ensure that what you are eating is halal. Number two, وَكَثُرَتِ الْأَيْدِي. Allah loves a meal where there are multiple hands stretched over it, meaning people are eating together. وَسُمِّيَ فِي أَوَّلِ. Number three is a meal where you begin by saying Bismillah. وَحُمِدَ اللَّهُ فِي آخِرِ. And you end the meal by saying Alhamdulillah. If you do these four, Allah will put barakah in that meal, and this is a perfect meal. There is a hadith from Imam Al-Mujtaba, and we'll conclude because tonight is the night of the Ashab. Imam Al-Mujtaba, he says, في المائدة 12 خصلة. There are 12 manners that we should observe when we have a meal. 12. يجب على كل مسلم أن يعرفها. Every Muslim should know these manners. 4 منها فرض. 4 of them are فرض. They are obligatory. Now here, obligatory doesn't mean wajib, but it means that these are very important akhlaqi teachings. They are very important ethical practices. وأربع سنة وأربعة سنة. 4 of them are the prophetic tradition. وأربع تأديب. And 4 are related to etiquette. فأما الفرض. The Imam says, as for the necessary manners, the 4 that are the most important is فالمعرفة والرضا والتسمية والشكر. Ma'rifah. First, you should know that this food is a ni'mah of Allah, that it comes from Allah. You need to recognize the source of this blessing, Allah. And when you eat, that's why it's recommended to sit humbly when you eat food, because food is a great ni'mah. You should treat it with sanctity. Number 2, ar-ridha. Be content. Don't complain that I don't like this food. Why didn't you make something else? This is bad manners, brothers and sisters. Imam al-Mujtaba, he says, be content. There are almost 1 billion people in the world today that are undernourished. Don't whine that this is chicken and I wanted beef, or this is pizza and I wanted sushi. This is shameful if this is how we speak. Be content. Wat-tasmiyah, say Bismillah, and end by saying Alhamdulillah. Express gratitude. So these are 4. The 4 that are sunnah, that are the prophetic legacy is فَالْوُضُوءُ قَبْلَ الطَّعَامِ. Do wudu before you eat. You may ask, I thought wudu is for salah. Remember that you're an abd of Allah. Everything that you do is sacred. Everything that you do is for Allah, so be in a state of tahara. وَالْجُلُوسَ عَلَى الْجَانِبِ الْأَيْسَرِ. It's recommended to sit on the ground, on the floor. And when you sit, put your weight on your left side. This might be a health tip. And then the Imam says, وَالْأَكْلُ بِثَلَاثِ أَصَابِعٍ. Now again, today we have silverware, but it's mustahab to eat with your hands and to eat with 3 fingers. وَلَعْقُ الْأَصَابِعِ. The Prophet, when he would eat, he used to lick his fingers. Imam al-Baqir explains, he says, because Rasulullah did not even want to waste the residue of the food. Some of us, we throw a lot of food away. Rasulullah doesn't even want to waste the particles that are on his fingers. And the final 4 that are etiquette is what? فَالْأَكْلُ مِمَّا يَلِيكَ. If you're sitting at a table, Imam al-Mujtaba says, eat from the food that is close to you. Don't do acrobatics and try to extend and grab what's on the other side. It's akhlaq to eat what is close to you. وَتَصْغِيرَ اللُّقْمَةِ. Don't put large morsels of food in your mouth. Small bites. You even look more dignified. You're not chewing too much food. وَتَجْرِيدُ الْمَضْغِ. Chew your food well. وَقِلَّةُ النَّظَرِ فِي وُجُوهِ النَّاسِ. And do not look at people while they are eating. This is the adab that the Ahlul Bayt have taught us with respect to food.